Hi friends, welcome to Simplify Maths. Today we are going to learn Understanding Quadrilaterals, Chapter 3, Exercise 3.4 for Class 8, NCERT book. First question, true or false? A subdivision, all rectangles are squares. Is all rectangles are squares? No, because square means all the sides must be equal. Even though rectangle has all its angles are 90 degree, but it is not a square because only opposite sides are equal. It is false. It is not. Rectangles are not squares. Second question. All rhombuses are parallelogram. Yes, of course, the rhombuses satisfies all the properties of the parallelogram. So, all rhombuses are parallelogram. So, all rhombuses are parallelogram. Because in rhombus also, like parallelogram, opposite sides are parallel. Also, opposite angles are equal. So, it is true. All rhombuses are parallelogram. Next, all squares are rhombuses and also rectangles. In squares, all the sides are equal like rhombus. Also, opposite angles are equal. Similarly, in squares also, opposite sides are equal and all the angles are 90 degree. So, this is true. Next, all squares are not parallelograms. All squares are of course parallelogram. So this is false. A square should satisfy the properties of parallelogram. Of course it satisfies these properties of parallelogram because in square also like parallelogram opposite sides are parallel and opposite angles are equal. So all squares are not parallelogram is a false statement. All kites are rhombuses. No, all kites are not rhombuses. Answer is false, right? Because in kites, the adjacent sides are equal. But in rhombus, all the sides are equal. So, it is not satisfying the properties of rhombus. Kite doesn't satisfy the properties of rhombus. So, all kites are not rhombuses. So, this statement is false. Next, all rhombuses are kites. Yes. This is the true statement because it satisfies the properties of kites. In rhombuses, adjacent sides are equal in length. Also, the diagonals are perpendicular to each other. Next, yes, all parallelograms are trapezium. In trapezium, a pair of opposite sides are equal. Similarly, in parallelogram, even though parallelogram has two opposite sides are parallel, it satisfies the properties of trapezium. So, this is true. A parallelogram is a trapezium. All parallelograms are trapezium. All squares are trapezium. Yes, all squares are trapezium because opposite sides are parallel. Expectation for trapezium is at least a pair of opposite sides must be parallel. It happens in squares. So, this is also true. Second question. Identify all the quadrilaterals that have four sides of equal length. So, four sides of equal length means square has four sides of equal length, right? Square. And rhombus. Rhombus means a diamond thing. So, square and rhombus. Four sides of equal length. Subdivision. Four right angles. It's very obvious, right? We know this very well. Four right angles happened for square and rectangles. All the angles are 90 degree. So, square and a rectangle. Third question. Explain how a square is a quadrilateral. Of course, it is a quadrilateral. A square is four-sided, so it is a quadrilateral. Quadrilateral means it must have four sides. A square has four sides, so it is a quadrilateral. Explain how a square is a parallelogram. The square satisfies the parallelogram properties also. In square, opposite sides are parallel and equal. So, square is a parallelogram. Now, square is a rhombus. How a square is a rhombus? A square is parallelogram with all the four sides equal. So it is a rhombus, right? A square is a rectangle. Yeah, of course it is a rectangle because all the angles are 90 degrees. A square is a parallelogram with each angle 90 degree. So it is a rectangle. Fourth question, name the quadrilaterals whose diagonals bisect each other. Bisect means it cut exactly into two pieces. That is called a bisecting. So bisect each other. Parallelogram, the diagonals bisect each other. For the rhombus also, the diagonals bisect each other. And similarly, for the square, the diagonals bisect each other. And for the rectangle also, the diagonals bisect each other. See, if you draw diagonals like this, it exactly divide one another. So this is called a bisecting. For the rhombus also, it bisects each other. For the square also, it bisects. Similarly for rectangle, bisecting happening. So parallelogram, rhombus, square and rectangle. Second subdivision. Name the quadrilaterals whose diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. Perpendicular bisector, that means it should be of 90 degree. Now we are going to see it should bisect and also the angle formed must be 90 degree. So the example for this is a rhombus and square. See, for a rhombus, the diagonals bisect each other. That means exactly half and also perpendicular. The angle formed here are always 90 degree each. Here also it bisects, also the angle formed here are 90 degree. Name the quadrilaterals. Third subdivision, name the quadrilaterals whose diagonals are equal. It's very easy, obvious, right? The diagonals are equal for, obviously it is for square and for the rectangle. The diagonals must be equal. Fifth question, explain why a rectangle is a convex quadrilateral. Convex quadrilateral means the angles formed, the interior angles must be less than 180 degree. Also, the diagonal lies interior, all of its diagonal lies interior of the figure, interior of the polygon. See here, for a rectangle, all the angles formed are 90 degree. So, it satisfies this property. It must be all the angles are less than 180 degree. And it has two diagonals. It lies completely interior of the polygon. So, this rectangle is all the rectangles are a convex quadrilateral. Sixth question, ABC is the right angled triangle and O is the midpoint of the side opposite to the right angle. Explain why O is equidistant from A, B and C. The dotted lines are drawn additionally to help you. See, according to this figure, AD is parallel to BC, right? AD parallel to BC. Similarly, AB parallel to DC, right? So, in parallelogram ABCD, the midpoint of the diagonal AC is O. The midpoint of the diagonal BD is O. Midpoint means exactly halfway of the line. So, obviously, the midpoint is O means it is equal from A and equal from C. So, OA and OC must be equal. Similarly, OB and OD must be equal. So, these are all equal. OB equal to OA equal to OC. That's why it is equal. Since it is a rectangle, the diagonals bisect each other. Bisect means it exactly half the lines. So, all the lines must be of equidistant. That's why O is equidistant from A, B and C, even with the D also. So, with this exercise 3.4 of understanding quadrilaterals gets over. Also, this chapter gets over here. I'll meet you in my next video. If you like the video, do subscribe our channel. I'll meet you in my next video. Thank you.